Hello and welcome. This is my 2021 Polygon Siskiu D5. I bought the D5 rather than the D6 or the D7 with better componentry simply because I like the color scheme better. Well, and I like to tinker, but that's a different story. I've already installed a TransX dropper post, and that is probably the best improvement you can make to a mountain bike if it doesn't have one. I also installed a set of ESI Super Chunky grips, as those I find to be really comfortable. Now it's time for the next upgrades, the drivetrain. Now the D5 came stock with an 1136 tooth Shimano cassette and a 2236 front chainring, also Shimano. The rear derailleur, front derailleur, and trigger shifters are all Alivios. Well, I bought a JG bike kit for the rear and for the crankset. And the advantage in my mind of buying these kits is the guesswork is taken out of whether or not the components are compatible. I could probably finagle something, but buying it as a curated kit, I know everything's going to work well together. Most of what follows is going to be pretty self-explanatory, so I'll only be popping in once in a while with commentary during the build. The 10-speed Sunrace cassette has an 11 to 42 tooth range. Combined with the 32 tooth front chainring, that still gives me a pretty decent climbing ratio. The JG Bike crankset kit came with a 30 tooth narrow wide. What I didn't realize is that it was oval. Now I have read and seen good things about these, but I don't know if I'm ready for that just yet. So I installed a Suntour 30 tooth narrow wide, which you see here. The problem with this is that it had these little raised pads on it that made it a little too close to the frame for my taste. So although you don't see it in the video, I ended up going with a 32 tooth snail narrow wide chainring that had a flat profile and gave me those extra few millimeters of clearance that made me more comfortable. It took me a few tries to index the gears, before I realized that you need to turn the clutch off to do so, because with the clutch on, it puts too much tension in the system to accurately index the gears. Once I figured that out, it was a snap to index them. All in all, this project worked out pretty well. The thing is, as I have said elsewhere, it doesn't matter how good an upgrade looks. What matters is how well the upgrade performs. And the only way to tell that is to take the bike out for a test ride. And that's exactly what I did. I had to fine-tune the indexing just a little bit with the barrel adjuster. Nothing major, and honestly nothing unexpected. And once I did that and got it dialed in, it worked really well. And the 32-tooth chainring combined with a 42-tooth low gear made climbing a breeze. I'm not even going to worry about the fact that I didn't use my 30-tooth rings. You know, at the end of the day, I really do think that the Polygon Siskiu D5 is a fine bike. When you consider the content versus the cost, it's actually a pretty darn good bike. Now, I can see some people may think that I'm not being completely straightforward with that, considering all the changes I've made. Well, I have two responses to that. The first being, nothing is so good that it cannot be made better. With the possible exception of my Nana's homemade donuts, but that's a different story. Secondly, let me be clear, this is not my most modified bicycle. Not by a long shot. Well, at least not yet. We'll see what the future holds. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave me a thumbs up. That always helps. Below left is a link for a playlist for the Siskiu D5. And below right is a link to another video that I think you'll enjoy. And as always, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate that. Goodbye, and have a great day.